Or if I go to this team, they'll show me everything. They'll do all the work for me, which is a decision in disempowerment based on the work you refuse to do. I refuse to do the work. I refuse to adequately prepare. And here I am like a dummy drinking the pool water. Welcome to another episode of Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, AZ Araujo. Please check in as you're coming on board. And good morning to you, Claudia, Rudy. Good morning, Teresa, Gabe, Michelle. Good morning, Adriana and Celia. Good morning. And as you hop on board, go ahead and check in. But today's topic is your intention is your projection and eventually your trajection, right? And today I was just reminded of so many lessons that I've learned just embarking on, endurance sports, triathlons. And I remember a couple of years ago, I did my first sprint triathlon, which is a fraction of what I'm preparing for now. A sprint triathlon is almost like kind of like something you just take on as a weekend challenge, right? It doesn't require too much training, at least from a professional's perspective. It doesn't require any challenge at all. It's just a weekend little sporting event that you can go to. Well, preparing for this thing, it was actually very challenging for me because I wasn't a swimmer, I wasn't a cyclist, and I wasn't a runner. And, during this process, I decided to embark on this. I said, I am going to do a sprint triathlon. And during the entire process, I was like, why did I even sign up for this, right? I was scared of the water. I couldn't breathe properly. I didn't have the right technique. I even didn't have the right bike, right? I had one of these aluminum, like straight bar bicycles. And running was like the worst thing I could ever impose on myself. It was the absolute worst. Like I was literally just punishing myself, right? And I signed up because it was a challenge. I put it down as part of my 12-week targets, and I said, I'm going to get this done. What I didn't realize was how ill-prepared I really was. I didn't have the facts. I didn't have the accountability. I refused to read any articles to really prepare myself, and I just went at it. I thought that since I'm in pretty good shape, I can get this done. It's a sprint triathlon. I mean, how hard can it be? And all the way up to that challenge, I hated it. I was projecting. My intention was just to get through with it. I just want to get this off my chest and just be done with it. And that's exactly how I approached it, was I just want to get done with it. And I hated the training, I hated the process, and I hated the competition. And eventually, I went to the competition day. And this is one of those moments where I really thought I was going to drown, right? And there was a number of situations there that I just wasn't really prepared to take on whatever it was that came before me because of the lack of preparation. And when I say drown, that was actually my second competition. I didn't learn my lesson. The first one, I made the mistake of drinking pool water. And for those of you that heard the story before, this was really just like a family thing, right? In fact, the prize that they give you at the end of the competition is a T-shirt. And the T-shirt has a picture of like a cruiser bicycle. That's how lackadaisical this competition was. But for me, it was a big challenge. So I went on my bike, I did the run, and of course, when you don't prepare correctly, you start looking at other people like, how in the hell are you beating me, right? I had like 80-year-old man passing me up. I had just different people that shouldn't be passing me up, just doing it over and over and over again. And for me, it was like, okay, it was a wake-up call that I didn't put enough of the reps in. I started out too fast, too excited, right? As soon as they rang the bell, I took off like a bat out of hell. And one of the things that I did this last time, it was called a reverse triathlon. And you start with a run, you go with a bicycle, and then you end with the swimming. And then usually it's the swimming, cycling, and then running. So this was a reverse type of triathlon, and there's really no risk of drowning because you're in a pool. All right. And just imagine 200 people going through this pool up and down until you finish the 700 meters, I believe. So what they did is they broke it up into several different lanes. And your job is to go up and down those lanes until you hit the 700 meters. So I started out with the run, and I was excited. And of course, I tried to keep up with the people that were leading this. And I did probably for the first half mile. And I felt pretty good the first half mile. And I was passing up people, and I'm like, man, I really can compete with these guys. And all of a sudden, I hit a wall. I hit this big wall. And next thing you know, all the people that I passed started passing me by. And even people that were kind of like, had this weird stride where it looked like they were not fully running, but not walking. Kind of like the in-between state where their hips are kind of moving from side to side. And you know, even those people were passing me up. I was like, what the heck is going on? So I get on my bike and I finished the run. It was only a 3-mile run. And I get on my bike and I'm already exhausted. And one of the other challenges that I had is that I didn't have enough air in my wheels, in my tires. And the way I checked it, because I was ill prepared, I didn't have the right coaches. I didn't have the right mentors. I didn't have the right environment. I decided to embark on this myself. So I was depending on myself. So I was making mistake after mistake. When there's a lot of knowledge out there, when I could have easily hired a coach, but I decided to do this on my own, right? I don't know if it was the ego. I don't know if it was the pride. But this is the same type of mindset that I get from a lot of agents in the industry, is they want to do it all their own because they're just too proud to ask questions, especially if they've been in the business 5-10 years. I'm an athlete for my entire life. So for me to ask questions on how to really prepare, come on. At least that was my mindset. I think it is, because I at least I thought it was, because why else would I just try to embark on this all on my own? So after the run where I started out too fast and I hit a wall, never ran 3 miles leading up to this competition. I only did a mile and I said, oh, okay, this is good enough. I can sustain that for 3 miles. So my training, lackadaisical, right? And also the knowledge of the sport there wasn't any, no knowledge. So I get on my bike, and the way I prepared my bike is I felt the pressure with my fingers. And I said, oh, it's good enough. That's what I used to do as a kid on my BMX bike. Do I have enough air? Oh, yeah, it'll take me from point A to point B. Well, there's a science. There's a process. You got to have a certain amount of PSI in your tires to run effectively. I was running at 40, I found out. I was supposed to be right around 100. So I was running on flats. Okay, same thing happened there. I'm going all out, and I'll see and I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but I would see a 300-pound woman, older woman, kind of just cruise on by me. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? I would see that elderly man go right by me. I'm like, what's up with that? Here I am, in pretty good shape. How am I missing this? Again, I wasn't adequately prepared. So I get off my bike. I'm exhausted. I have my family there, my wife and my kids. They're waiting. I'm supposed to be done with this like an hour and a half. It literally took me almost 3 hours to complete this whole thing. It was painful. I was miserable. I hated it. I hated the process leading up to it. I hated the process, as I was in it. And I was exhausted. I was dehydrated. I was cramping. Okay. I had to stop a couple times on my bike to get off because I was my muscles were literally cramping. And this was only like a 12-mile ride. Like I can do that in my sleep today, right? But back then it was a real challenge. So I'm cramping. I get off my bike. I'm back on, and I know I have my family there. So I'm like towards the end of this entire crowd. So just imagine about 200 bodies, just being ahead of me in one format or another. I'm towards the end. And the last event is the swim. Now it's not a lake. It's a pool. And it's a 25-meter pool. So that means you have to go up and down. And again, they separated it so you can do it might have even only been 400 meters. I said 7. It might have been only 400. I'll have to double check. But it wasn't far at all. So I get in the pool. And of course, I can't do 25 meters without stopping. That's one length of the pool. So I'm swimming, and then I have to stand up, and the water's literally like below my nipples. Like this water is only like 3.5 to 4 feet tall. So again, I'm going out there, and I'm going up and down, and I start cramping again. And when you're in delirious state, when you're in a place where you don't have any direction, when you're in a place where you didn't adequately prepare, where you refuse to put in the reps, because that's exactly what I did. Okay, I'm not going to act naive like I didn't know anything. I knew what it took, but I decided and I convinced myself that I had enough to be able to get through it. Okay, so I was like, okay, it can't be me. It must be something else outside of me for me to have this big challenge. It's maybe what I ate, or maybe I didn't hydrate properly. No, it was the preparation of it all. So I'm in this pool. Again, 200 bodies have gone before me. And somewhere along the lines, I'm like, I'm dehydrated. My legs are cramping up again. And my thought process is, when you cramp up, it's because you have lack of water. So for some reason, in this state where I'm ill-prepared, where I didn't put in the right work, something unique happens. Well, it's not really unique. It just happens all the time. When you don't do the right things, you don't make the right decisions. Okay? You make irrational decisions. You make things worse. I'm already cramping. I'm hurting. I'm already at the end of the line. My kids, my poor kids, are hungry. My wife is like, dude, this was supposed to be like a little weekend thing, a little, Saturday event. And here you are almost 3 hours later. So in this spot, in this place, exactly where I put myself. Okay? And many times, and I'm going to go ahead and connect this to business, because many times we're in a place where we don't have the money. We don't have the resources. We're frustrated. Nothing's working out for us. But we refuse to put that accountability back on ourselves. We refuse to look at the fact that we didn't put in the reps. We didn't do the simple things in order to be able to overcome the harder things. If I couldn't even prepare myself during that time, it's not like I signed up from one day to the next. I knew this event was going to happen probably like 8 weeks in advance. And I did the minimum requirements. In fact, I skipped many days. But yet, I'm hurting, and there's this process where now it's beyond me, right? The consequences are beyond me. So in this place, when I'm in the pool, I start cramping. I'm standing up. I would swim again. I start cramping. Then I get this bright idea. Water stops cramps. What's a little pool water going to do to me? I need to be able to replenish my muscles, okay, because they're cramping. I just need a little bit of H2O in my body. I'm in this delirious state. I'm in this state where I didn't adequately prepare, and I'm about to make things worse, in which I did. So, as I start swimming again, I decide to drink some of that pool water to stop my cramps. Now, any rational person would be like, what the hell are you doing? What are you thinking? Just imagine 200 sweaty bodies going through a pool, all right? And who knows if many showered before they even got to the event, right? Every crevice, just think about this. Every crevice of the body in this pool, the water flows everywhere, if you know what I'm talking about. And here I am, one of the final people in the pool, and I decide to drink the pool water. I was looking for a short-term solution. I was looking just to get through the process, thinking, hey, if I do this, it'll make things better, when in fact, it only made things worse. And I can see this with agents all the time. As opposed to doing the work and taking that personal responsibility, they think, if I go to another brokerage, then things will be better, which is a decision in a place of disempowerment. Or if I go to this team, they'll show me everything. They'll do all the work for me, which is a decision in disempowerment based on the work you refuse to do. I refuse to do the work. I refuse to adequately prepare. And here I am like a dummy drinking the pool water. So, drink it, and I keep drinking, sipping it, slurping it, getting it down my throat, and I get out again. I'm not fully, you know, comprehending what's going on around me, and I forget to cross the finish line. I go around the finish line. You're supposed to go through this like inflatable finish line, and I go around it. And not only do I go around it, I'm so relieved. I hug my family. I take some pictures. I forget the ankle bracelet or whatever the tracker that they give me, and I go all the way to my car with it. And I'm driving like 2 miles down, and I realize, oh shit, we have to go back and deliver the timepiece. So I didn't even get a time. And it wasn't because, again, it was hard to realize what to do. Is that I put myself in that place. And everything leading up to that was because of my mindset. My intention is exactly what I projected in my life. I hated the fact that I signed up for it. I hated the fact that I had to learn how to swim. I hated the fact that I had to do the work. And that's exactly how I showed up on game day. When it mattered most, I floundered. When it mattered most, I made big mistakes, huge mistakes. I made things worse. And for many agents, refusing to do the reps means that you're not going to have the confidence you need on game day. If you're refusing to put yourself out there as a marketer on a daily basis, you're going to mess things up on game day. On the day you have to go on a listing appointment. On the day you are meeting with a buyer. Because you have zero confidence. You have zero knowledge. You're acting confused. You don't put in the reps. Game day is when it counts. But it's in preparation to that day that really matters. So I had some type of virus afterwards, stomach virus. It put me down for 3 days. The absolute worst. I couldn't keep anything down. I really felt like I was going to die of the pain, vomiting, diarrhea, everything you could think of. Fever. I made things worse. Many agents do that on a consistent basis. They expect their family to support them, to trust them, to not ask them questions. But yet there's no results to showcase. So you get mad at them. You start making decisions that your family just doesn't support you. Your wife is your worst enemy. When you're the one who failed to prepare. When you're the one who failed to market on a daily basis. When you're the one that failed to adequately prepare for game day. I know we all want that success. All I wanted to was to compete. And I couldn't even do that. Lack of preparation. And exactly my intention was my projection. Now, fast forward. And that's just one story. I mentioned that I almost thought I was going to drown. That was like my third triathlon. I don't even know why I kept going on with these triathlons. I really don't. And it's starting to become more clear now. It really is. But back then, I'm like, why am I putting in this place where I'm so uncomfortable? Where I'm scared of the water, where I hate the run. But I entered another sprint triathlon in open water, and that's when I really thought I was going to drown. And I'll save that story for another day because it's a very interesting one, funny as well. but I didn't learn my lessons. And it seems like sometimes I have to make the worst decisions before I make better ones. And I think that's been my pattern for many years. And although I've broken that cycle in many elements, I still think that I'm a knucklehead sometimes. I just don't get it sometimes. I really need to bring that pain onto myself before I get it. But one of the things that I realize is that we don't have to go that far deep into trying to bring on the pain for us to learn a lesson. Because I think most lessons are learned when we make mistakes. We don't make it when we don't make these, we don't get these big epiphanies when things are all going good, right? It is oftentimes a celebratory time. So we're not like obtaining all these great lessons when everything's going good. It's when you face those walls, is when you bring on that pain. But one of the things I realized over the years, fast forward 3.5, 4 years later, is that I know that I don't have to bring immense pain to myself in order for me to learn a lesson, right? I don't have to go all the way to the bottom of the pit before I learn a lesson. And I get that. And the only way you can avoid that, and I'm not saying pain is not good. Pain is really good, and that's why I bring that upon myself on a daily basis. Because epiphanies is that's where epiphanies come from, new perspectives. But I think, again, you can get the same lessons without having to go as far. Before, I felt like I needed to almost come to a divorce before we made any changes in our marriage. Now we understand it doesn't have to get that bad. Maybe if we communicate on our wants and our needs and the way we're showing up, holding ourselves personally accountable, we don't have to have those arguments, those nasty fights, that we can learn the lessons without having to go that deep. This time around, I realized that preparation is key to any success. Whether it's in business, in your health, in your marriage as a parent. What I decided to do this time around was hire a coach. Not only for one aspect of my training, which I did the last time, which was for my swimming. That was the worst sport or event that I was at. That was my worst event. So I hired a swimming coach. But this time around, I said, I'm going to hire a coach that will prepare me all the way through. And I made that decision not just 8 weeks prior, not 10 weeks prior, 20 weeks prior to the actual competition. Because my intention is not to simply get through this process like I did before. Before, I just want to finish. I don't care if I'm the last person out there. I just want to say I got it done. That was my rationale for not preparing adequately. I just want to get it done. I want to get my medal. Or a t-shirt. The first one was just a t-shirt, like I said. And I did get a medal, the one after. And that was good enough at that point, but not anymore. I was 20 weeks removed from the actual competition when I decided to hire a coach. I decided to get a perspective, a good training plan to get me from point A to point B. And right now, I'm not good enough to finish this competition, but you should see me. You're going to see me in about 18 weeks from now. I'm not going through this process just to simply finish, to make bad decisions worse. I'm going in there with intention, with a game plan, with pride, with preparation. I'm going to finish this powerfully. I'm not going to run through the finish line cramping up like I did on my second triathlon. I'm going to run through this powerfully because I understand the power of accountability. One, I have to hold myself accountable. But two, getting the right coaches and the right people around me. I have a game plan. And what's nice about this is that I would never have guessed to train the way I'm training and the way I've done for the last 2 weeks. I would have never guessed to do that. But because I put my money where my mouth is, because I invested in a coach that knows what he's doing, I'm going out there to compete. But it's my job to live up to my end of the bargain. Because whether I do the work or not, he gets paid. He's going to go on his merry life. I have to bring that personal accountability to myself. And I'm convicted. I have this conviction within me that I follow it to a T. And there's many times during this process that I could take the easier route. But I decide I'm going to go through the process the way it's intended. Because I'm going to build my capacity for pain. I'm not going to take the easy way out. I'm going to decide to do the hard things as opposed to the easier things. And he has it set up that way. Hey, you can do this exercise, or you can do this other one. Guess what I'm going with? The one that exhausts me more, breaks me down the most. Because if I do this through training, guess what I'm going to do on game day? I'm going to kill it. And we have a process with a 12-week targets book where we have a minimum standard of what you should do for your marketing. The harder thing is to go live. But those that do, kill it on game day. We could avoid it, and I give you that option. Hey, you can put a couple pictures, or you can go live. I go live. I go for the squats. I go for the deadlifts. I go for the things that I hate because I will need this preparation on game day. It will not break me down on game day when it matters most. So the approach is very simple for you. How are you going to attack the small things, the preparation work, the reps? It's all on you. You can avoid all these things that is built and designed to build your confidence, to set you up as an authority, to change the perspectives of the people that know, like, and trust you, to see you as the one and only for their real estate needs, or you can sit back and watch others do it and convince yourself you don't know why. And when you're in that place, you're going to catch yourself thinking that drinking water from a pool is okay. We all have a minimum standard of what we need to do as professionals. And you're a business owner. And it is your responsibility to act like a business owner. And part of that process is to make sure you market powerfully every single day. That you have a sales pipeline. That you build systems around your business to support you. And that you position yourself as a leader at home and not just expect their support when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And to be involved. This mindset mastery is easy to be on, and it's really easy not to be on. And you can try to go about it like I did. Go about it all by yourself. Not ask questions, not get involved. And miss the finish line completely. And that's the decision you have to make every single day. You want to go at this alone? Good luck to you. Short term. You want to get involved? Watch your life change. So your intention is your projection. And man, I'm feeling so good. Guys, like I can't tell you how good I'm feeling. It sucks. I'm telling you, it's rough. These 2-a-days trainings sessions is tough, but I was looking at my stats already. I've already clocked in, and I didn't even have this, my new watch my Garmin. I haven't even had this watch my entire training sessions. I think I missed 2 or 3 sessions, but I already clocked in 115 miles between the swims, the runs, and the cycling. 115 miles. It's amazing. And this is all in preparation for the big day. But the big day means nothing without the preparation. So I'm going to challenge you today, like, take out your 12-week targets book and commit that you will do every aspect of it. And then tell me how you feel about it. I promise you, you're not going to feel any weaker. You're not going to feel like you don't know what to do next. There's a power that comes from this. There's a certainty that is created from this. And we all need it every day. I don't care how long you've been in the business. Don't convince yourself otherwise. The work must get done. I want to thank you for joining me for this episode of Mindset Mastery. And again, for all those that joined, we got Rudy, Teresa, Gabe, Michelle. Thanks again for joining. Adriana, Celia, Kimberly, good morning. Caroline, Naomi, Dora Lee, Fred, good morning to you. Yvonne, Roger, Isela, Isabel, Lonnie. I know we have some comments here. Hopefully, if you got any insights from this, I'd like to share it. Yeah, and I made a lot of dumb mistakes. Trust me. Oh, geez. That hurt my stomach even talking about it. Who do we got? Dora Lee. We got Rosie, Bobby, Jeanette, Patrick, Liz. Hopefully you enjoyed that story. Claudia, David, Jessica. I really needed to hear this one today. Thank you. You're welcome, Jessica. And you know what to do. The reps, right? Get back on that game. The facts. We got this from JJ. Perfect motivation for me. Thanks, AZ. You're welcome. Jermaine, Bobby, I see you're laughing at me. Okay, it's all right. It's okay. I'm going to go check on you at Carlos' workout, and I think I'm going to have the same reaction towards you. No, but nice job there committing to that. That's a big deal as well. Gabe, chlorine nasty. I wish chlorine killed all the germs. I'm sure I damaged my liver permanently. Teresa, good morning. Fred. Let's see here. Caroline, Gabe, did you get sick? Yeah, I got absolutely sick, man. It was harsh. I think I missed 2-3 days of work. Cindy, that's what happened in my midlife crisis of turning 50. I joined a team somewhere else, and bam, 3 months later, I came back because a team wasn't the answer to me, for me. And it wasn't. It's always within us, Cindy. And that really just kind of gave me goosebumps because, when we're in this place, it seems like the rational thing to do sometimes, right? Not to only to realize it was the wrong decision. It was a bad decision. It was a decision made of not being in power. And the entire time I was doing my triathlons, I was not in power. I was not, because there was zero preparation for it. But we must understand that I brought all that to me. It was my lack of preparation. It was my responsibility, and I completely floundered it and failed it. Sergio, will and motivation can only take us so far. The mind will kick in and show us the wall once it knows is there. Once knows is there due to lack of preparation. There are no shortcuts to put in reps. When preparation meets opportunity, there is not other options than to succeed. Do the MF work. Absolutely. And sorry, my reading, can we expand on that? My contacts are there, but I just can't read that small. So, okay, so let's go ahead and scroll down. And then we have Fred. I am most susceptible to scams, recruiting, and making bad decisions when I'm hurting. It seems like Zillow and other marketing opportunities hit me up when I'm in the pit. The problem is never the systems that I lack. The problem is me. That's huge, Fred. Until I learned the lesson, I was a sucker for always following the shiny things. It's an expensive lesson. It really is. And it always comes down to us. I mean, we're resilient individuals, and we can get it done. Rio, good shit, brother. See you at the finish line. Absolutely. Dominique, pure fire. Caroline, needed this today, and I'm glad you did. And I hope it served you. It's serving me. I'm feeling very appreciative of the journey and why I decided to embark on this. And as I look back, these stories are they're funny, And I don't think I even told that right away because I was so ashamed of the decisions. But now it's just, it's comical in a way. But it's such great lessons because that's how life works. We don't prepare, we're going to make bad decisions. Claudia, one last one. Last year, I wanted to join a team because I didn't want to follow up with past clients and new leads. I thought it would help with accountability. I'm glad I opened my eyes and realized it's something I need to do on my own. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I absolutely love you. That's a power statement right there, Claudia. Proud of you. You did killed it in May. I know June is going to look just as good. And we're always in that place. I fell into that trap as well when I just refused to build our training, refused to build the systems around AZ and Associates. I thought I could hire somebody to do that for me. And I spent a lot of money, like $30,000, hiring this box training. And it was so generic. It was a waste of money, but it opened my eyes to see this. It is all up to me. It is always up to me. So if you're in this place where you're feeling like you're just stuck, you're hitting a wall, it is all up to you. You can get through this, okay? And again, I want to thank you for joining me for this episode of Mindset Mastery. Like, let's go out and kill the day, guys. This is a perfect week to be able to start preparing ourselves for the second half of the year, okay? So we're only 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away from the 6-month mark. And I'm hoping to have a really neat meeting with all of us where we could actually meet physically in person, right? And get us off to third and fourth quarters off on fire. So thank you again for joining, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye now.